It takes a fair bit to annoy car manufacturers. You have to really push them, get up all over them and irritate them to get them to change their ways as a result of your actions. Seat managed to knock Renault because the new Leon Cupra managed to beat the Megane 265 around the Nürburgring. And it managed to do it so convincingly that Renault's upped the power on the Megane to go and get its record back. But less about the French. Let's go south. The Seat Leon is a great car, we know that, and the 180 horsepower diesel, well, that should be enough for most. It's powerful enough and it's certainly economical, but for some it simply won't be. So how's about adding an extra 100 horses on there and making the fuel a little more petrol-y? Well, then you get the Leon Cupra. Here's a bit of a range breakdown for you. There are two power outputs to choose from, the 265 or the 280. They can come with a number of gearboxes and with 3 doors or 5. Confusing? Yes, but not so bad. You'll be cross-eyed figuring it all out. Now, me being me, I'm only really interested in the most powerful one. This one, the 280. Here's the numbers. 0 to 62 takes 5.7 seconds with a DSG gearbox. Its top speed is 155 miles an hour. You'll never actually be able to use that in the real world, but its 2-litre turbocharged engine doesn't only push out 280 horsepower, but also 257 pound-foot, which means it should be pretty brisk in gear. Power-wise, it's running a little short compared to its VW Group stablemates, the VW Golf R and the Audi S3, but it's also cheaper than the pair, so there's no massive issue there. It also means that there's room in the range for a more powerful Cupra R model. How does 320 brakes sound? That'd be pretty sweet. Unlike its VW Group cousins, the Cupra isn't all-wheel drive. No, this is front-wheel drive, but to keep the power in check, Seat's fitted a proper mechanical differential. No more XDS electronic trick or anything like that. Seat wanted to build a car that could take on the Nürburgring and win, which it did, sort of. You see, there's a few rumours flying around that the Cupra that took on the Green Hell wasn't quite standard, but still, it's a bit quick. So just how good is this thing? Is it mind-blowingly fast? Is it fast enough to make me break out in some sort of semi-orgasmic smile? The Leon itself is brilliant. We've got one as a crew car and every drive in it is an utter joy. In comfort mode, everything's okay because there's lots of toys trying to keep the car as level and balanced as possible. However, this is not a car you buy because you want something with the comfort mode. Sod all that. You buy this car for the Cupra button. It's got so much grip, and the throttle response in Cupra mode is awesome. You pop your foot down and then all of a sudden it starts making a noise a little bit like one of the current Formula 1 cars. It's 2-litre turbocharged engine. Doesn't sound like super hyper fruity, but it's a nice noise. It pleasantly pushes you along into the distance, and it does so very quickly indeed. The old Leon Cupra R had 260-ish horsepower. Awesomely fast car, but the XDS electric diff wasn't all that good at keeping the torque steer in check. In this, there is a little bit. They haven't eliminated it entirely. But what they have done is great. But there are a few caveats to that. It does let you push it really, really hard. But you do know that even though you're the one doing the pushing, the car's the one doing all of the work. There's lots of toys in here to make sure you stay level, the power goes to the right wheel at the right time, and you don't fall off the road in some horrible skiddy fireball. And so a little bit of me, even though I was having tremendous amounts of fun feels a little bit cheated, because I felt as though while I was part of the process, I wasn't quite as involved as I could be. But then again, that's the state with most modern hot hatches. In order to make the Cupra just a little bit more jazzy, a little bit more racy, Seat's added a few bits, there's bigger air dams and black details, and they've painted this particular one high-vi yellow. But it means if you catch it at certain lights, you see what the designers did to make the Leon such a pretty car in the first place. When it first came out, it was so much different from the A3 and the Golf and the Octavia, really. It was a bit more daring, it was a bit more stylish, and that's just been carried on with a slightly more sporting edge. This car was designed to make you feel good, and that is precisely what it does. So that's what it's like to actually pedal, but is it better not only than the Audi and VW hookups, but the likes of the Vauxhall Astra VXR, Ford Focus ST, and all that jazz? Well, that decision is entirely down to you, but for me, the Cupra is kind of a brilliant mix of everything. It builds on the brilliance of the standard Leon, and then it has a little bit of that anger you find in the Astra VXR, and a little scoop of the character you get in a Ford Focus ST. And up against the Renault, well, we both know who's going to win that race. If you're in the market for a hot hatch, you'd be a fool to overlook this thing.